Hey y'all, I'm Blaine Phillips.
And I'm Jason Levan.
We're married, like just a minute ago, but we've been together for 14 years.
We have a teenage daughter.
Which means she's basically an adult, right?
We're also growing a business on the side together.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Through all of that, we've learned how to improve so many aspects of our lives and show up in an amazing way.
So we decided to host a podcast to share our journey with you.
It's called Let's Do Life Together, because that's just what we want to do with you.
So if you could use some tips and tricks on how to make life a little smoother,
then you're in the right place.
come on in and let's do life.
I don't know about you, but I love Pinterest. It might even be a guilty pleasure of mine. I don't know. It's my mindless scroll sometimes. I stay off of the socials. I guess maybe Pinterest is socials more than Pinterest. I just like it. I want to redecorate my house and bake a cake and do all the things. But if you've been on Pinterest or probably anywhere, anytime in the last, I don't know how long, you've heard the words self-care. It seems to be all the rage. Self-care. There's a fancy quote, there's a mantra, there's a this, there's a that. But what does self-care actually mean? That's what we're going to talk about today. All things self-care and how, hey, guess what? It's not selfish, even though I think self-care sounds like it could be selfish.
I think that for lots of people, self-care means, getting a massage, taking a long, luxurious bubble bath, sipping champagne, and doing these kind of extravagant type of feeling things that purposefully exclude other people. And then, guilt comes in, and particularly mom guilt. So, I'm not going to spend time and money to do that. That's selfish. But it doesn't have to be those types of things. Self-care is what you do to basically recharge your battery. And then we can do all the metaphors. You can't pour from an empty cup or something.
Yep,
and
that's one. Shatter a vase, something, the vase tips over. Or is that a little teapot? I don't know. There's all kinds of metaphors of self-care and how you have to take care of yourself first, fill your cup up first before you have love for anyone else. Or
right. There's one going around about, you charge your phone twice a day. Why don't you, recharge yourself too?
Ah, good one. Is that candle at both ends? Is that one too? Burn it? No, something else?
Yeah.
I don't know. Whatever. There's all the metaphors about self-care. We could go on and on, but here's an impactful one for me. I can remember many, many years ago when I started flying as an adult and, the safety briefing. You've probably heard this one, but I want to challenge you to think of it differently. The safety briefing where the person is standing up in the front of the plane and you're probably not really listening or paying attention to them, but they're telling you to pull out the little pamphlet and they're doing the thing and buckle your seatbelt. And then they talk about the oxygen mask. And they say the oxygen masks will fall if they're needed, and you are supposed to secure yours first. And then if you're traveling with someone in need of assistance, then you can assist them with their oxygen mask. And I remember never really paying attention to those. There was the season where I didn't pay attention to the briefings. And then I became a mother, and I'm traveling with Sienna when she was little. Even I traveled a lot in the beginning visiting my family, and she's like in my lap, like clearly would need assistance. And I can remember listening to that briefing thinking, are you freaking kidding me? If my baby needs an oxygen mask, and if all of us need an oxygen mask, I'm for sure going to put it on my baby first, and then I'll do myself, because that's what we do, right? That's how mom brain works, or at least that's how mine was. And it wasn't until years later when I heard that same reference used and someone explaining, okay, cool. You have someone that needs your assistance, your spouse, your ailing parent, your infant child, your whatever. If you can't breathe, you can't help them, which is why they tell you to put your mask on first. So you make sure that you are healthy and breathing and able to help those others in need of assistance. Mind blown. Something so simple as the briefing on the airplane makes you really stop and think. You do have to take care of yourself if you want to give to all those people around you that you want to give to, that need your help, that need your assistance.
Right. It doesn't mean that you're always putting yourself first, and it's all about, your priorities come before everybody else's. It's self-care is recognizing that you have to take care of yourself. You have to be responsible for taking care of yourself, for downtime, for refueling, recharging, for taking a mental break, whatever it is.
We're not telling you to be selfish, but we're also are telling you that self-care isn't selfish. I think the other thing we get into when we think about self-care is it's this like once in a while thing that we should do. Like, okay, my self-care is once a month, I'm going to go get a massage. Well, that's great. Congratulations to you. But all the other 29 days of the month, you're burning the candle at both ends. Hey, I did use it right then, right? You're not stopping. You're not recharging. You're not doing any other things, but you've got self-care. It's on the calendar. On the 15th, I'm getting my massage, and that's going to fill my cup for the whole rest of the month. No, self-care isn't something that we just do every so often. It's something that we need to do daily. And I think that is by changing the way we look at it too. Like, am I suggesting that you get a massage daily? No, because I'm suggesting that a massage is not the only way. Yes, it's a form of self-care, but it's not the only way that we can care for ourselves, because getting a massage daily is not really sustainable. But all these other ways that we're going to talk about, these bite-sized things that we do to take care of ourselves and fill our cups, that is manageable. And that is something that you should do every day in little doses.
Right. So it doesn't have to be big things every day. It's just incorporating it, making it a habit, which we'll keep talking about because I just finished the habit book. So I'll keep bringing that up.
What habit book?
Atomic Habits by...
You don't know, but we'll link to it in the show notes.
James Clear.
It was James Clear. I read that book too. It was good.
Yeah. So just, making self-care a habit. It's just like any other wellness approach that we would recommend. So if it's for your physical health, we want you to, move your body and eat right. Well,
brushing your teeth is a habit and also a form of self-care. Congratulations. We all won today, or at least I hope you did.
So part of, I think, forming those habits of self-care is to identify different ways that give you that. So there can be many different things that you already do. Maybe you just don't realize, all right, this is a form of self-care, and maybe you want to devote more time or make more of a habit out of it. So if it's reading a trashy romance novel is your 10 minutes of joy every 2 days, whenever you get it, maybe you can incorporate it every day, or maybe a longer chunk when you have that time.
I think it's good to look at levels of it too. Like, there are levels of self-care. We've told you it's something that you should do all the time, but like I said, you can't do massages all the time. So what are the levels? Like, when I think about me specifically, I definitely have struggled and still have moments of thinking that things are selfish. Like, oh, well, what about my family? Am I taking time away from them? I think us moms get into the guilt of taking time away from them, that we should be doing something else for them. And money. Money is one where we're like, oh, am I taking this out of the family expenses? And is it just benefiting me? And that doesn't feel right. And some people don't struggle with that, and that's great. Rock on, sister. I have definitely been there, but I had to, and I'm still working to get over that and let that go and understand that I do have to take care of myself. So figuring out what those things are that fill you up with joy, accepting that it is okay to do it because you're better for it. Here's a great example of something that is a form of self-care. I wouldn't have thought of it as a form of self-care before for me, but it's evolved over the last few years, but it is my morning routine. I cherish that time. I am an early bird. We've talked about this before many times, but I like getting up early. I've really just embraced that time, and I get up before anyone else in the house. And that is like my time. It gives me joy. I get to wake up a little. I do my journaling. I read my devotional. I read whatever book I'm growing in that moment. And I just kind of group myself I was going to say regroup, but it's not really regrouping, but I gather myself for the day ahead. And then it just like lights me up. And so when my family gets up, I'm ready and I'm excited and I have filled my cup. It didn't cost me anything. It didn't take anything away from them because they're asleep. I intentionally set my clock to get up before them so that I can not take anything away from them, but also have the quiet, peaceful time to fill my cup up before they come. And then I'm ready. So it doesn't have to cost. It doesn't have to be, but that is self-care. And I notice when I don't do it, like maybe I stayed up a little too late the night before and I just needed sleep, or I forgot to set my alarm, or I don't know, life happened and I didn't do it. We're on vacation or whatever it is. I'm off. Like it just doesn't set the right tone for my day. I can see it in my family. When I don't get my morning time, I'm off. I'm a little grumpy. I'm a little more testy. I see that in myself, and I'm now not showing up as the best version of myself for them because it trickles out into my whole day, for my family, for the people out in the world that I interact with, because my morning was off, and that is something that a way I take care of myself. So I guarantee when you find the ways that take care of yourself, it will change you, and they're getting a better version of you when you're making that time for those things.
If your life is so busy and it's just go, 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 and you wake up and it's immediately, your kids are there asking for breakfast, and then you rush them off to school, and then you're going to work, and you're busy at work, and you eat at your desk for lunch, and you come home, make dinner, and maybe do some chores, or, go to soccer practice and transport your kids back and forth, and then crash, and then do it all again the next day. Well, you're giving to the outside world in all these different ways, and you're not taking a moment for yourself. So you've got to find those opportunities. Like, how do I do things that are going to give me some energy back? So sleep is a big one, of course. And you can, if you want to talk about sleep, just hit me up in the Instagram messages on the Instagram, right?
Oh,
that's what it's called.
Boy, here we go.
But I'll talk about sleep all day.
He'll even show you some stats if you're interested, I'm sure.
So sleep, it's, physically recharging you, and that's self-care. So maybe it's, hey, at lunchtime, I'm going to go take a 20-minute power nap. If that's what you need, if that's, practical for you, then do that. If it's go for a walk. If it's, get up 15 minutes early and have a good cup of coffee on the patio when nobody else is up. Like, whatever it is. It's similar to what are things that bring you joy, but it's, these are self-care moments.
What are the things that recharge you? So that's the step. The first thing you should do is identify those. And yours are not going to look like mine. or Jason's. Mine and Jason's are different. We have some things that are similar, but they're different. And they don't have to. They don't have to look like mine. They don't have to look like the quote on Pinterest. If you go on Pinterest, they'll give you a million ideas. And if you have no idea, then great, pick one. I mean, there's this like 30-day self-care challenge where it just has you do something different each day for a month. If you don't know, then go to Pinterest and pick one of those and just start, and you'll find the things that you like and you'll find the things that you don't, and explore those ideas a little bit more. Maybe a 10-minute walk in your neighborhood lights you up with no phone and no podcast and no kids, and maybe it's just you and your dog that you're walking, or maybe it is reading your romance novel or a morning routine like mine, or whatever it is. But the first step is identifying them. And I would say if you have no idea, then you have to start somewhere. And a 30-day calendar, you don't have to do it every day. Like, just challenge yourself to do a few a week or whatever, and figure out what feels good, what gets you excited.
Right. And even just to schedule it in your day. So for 10, 15 minutes at 7 a.m., I'm going to do this thing, or I'm going to do something. And this week, I'm going to try something new. Maybe it's the walk, maybe it's whatever. So you can just experiment, find the things. You probably already know a lot of things that help fill that cup back up. So you have to make it a priority, and basically just understand that the guilt will go away because you're going to end up showing up better for people.
It will. I mean, they will notice it. Like, when I miss my morning routine for whatever reason, I can make excuses for it. I know my family notices. Sienna will joke even, "Did you oversleep this morning?" Which is her nice way of saying, "You're not your normal self this morning, mommy." And they notice. When I'm taking better care of myself, I'm happier, and I'm nicer to Jason, I'm sure. I'm nicer to the people out in the world. And all of a sudden, they will not even give you grief, but encourage you to make sure that you're taking that time for yourself. And so identify it, play with it, figure out what those things are, schedule them in, make it a non-negotiable for yourself, and include if the time that you're going to build it into your schedule affects other people in your world, your family, your coworkers, your whatever, like, hey, don't call me on my lunch break because I'm going to be meditating, or I'm going to do a yoga lunch session, or whatever it is, then make sure you're communicating with that with them as well, that they know, hey, at 7 a.m., mommy's on the porch having her coffee, and that becomes your time. That's okay. That's more than okay. One, you need it. And two, you're setting the example to them that self-care is not selfish, but it's important. And when you come back from that delicious 15-minute cup of coffee that you enjoyed, I guarantee you will be in a better space. They will feel that energy from you, and they won't want to interrupt mommy's 15-minute coffee break, because mommy's awesome when she gets back from it. They'll think there's magic in that coffee.
Yeah, and I think you've got to encourage the other members of your household to do the same thing. So they don't have to do it the same time or the same way, but you've got to give them the space to do that as well. So definitely don't want to add to the guilt, but you just have to have that conversation and make it a priority for everybody in the household.
Yeah, don't be a poo-pooer. When Jason comes to me and says, hey, I'm going to go play basketball for a couple hours on Saturday afternoon, he's communicating that with me. Don't poo-poo on it. Well, I was hoping that you could da-da-da-da-da. Like, if there was actually something your family was doing, you can communicate that and work out the right timeline. But I've done that. I've caught myself being like, well, that's kind of an inconvenient time. But it's an actual inconvenient time, then say that and figure out a time where he can. Make space, make room for those people to have their time. Because I know when he comes back from that basketball game, he's recharged. He's got new stories to tell me and new energy about him. And I have to remind myself of that too, to honor his oxygen mask as much as I'm honoring my oxygen mask.
Yeah, and I'd say also don't assume that other people's self-care methods are the same as yours, or that they should feel the same way about the ones that you do. So like you enjoy a pedicure, that's self-care to you. For me, it's like a medical procedure.
That's true. Your feet are kind of busted.
Right. So yeah, I can recognize that they need some help, but it's not a self-care moment.
That's a chore.
Right.
That's like put on a mask and we're going in for work.
Right. We're doing work.
For me, that's a once a month like self-care thing. I like to go alone. I like to sit in the chair and let it massage me. And it's actually kind of a two-parter because now that we run more, like I actually need it. I need to care for my feet. But it brings me so much joy to spend $30 per month, sit in that chair. I make it a 2-hour experience. Sometimes I even take a little chocolate and I have chocolate in the chair and I chat it up or I listen to a podcast or whatever I want to do. And that just recharges me. But it doesn't do anything for Jason, mostly because his feet are busted, but it doesn't. Also, he has things that I'm like, that's a snooze fest. What are you doing? Doesn't recharge me at all. Right, Jason?
That is true. But since you mentioned chocolate, let's go ahead and wrap this up and go get some chocolate and mimosa break. Do our self-care.
Oh, all right. Is that what's happening? All right. Well, apparently we're wrapping this up, people. We're wrapping it up. The point is, self-care is not selfish. Putting on your oxygen mask is imperative. It's not even like questionable. It's not a non-negotiable. You have to take care of yourself. And from one mom to another, I spent the majority of my adult life not believing that, feeling like it was selfish, not understanding the importance. But now that I'm on the other side of it, I did it. I just mind over matter, got over myself, and started putting time into me. I see the benefits, the dividends that it has paid to my family, to my business, to the people that I'm surrounded by. Taking care of yourself is really a priority. It has to be. You have to have a full cup to pour from it, and it will get depleted quickly because that's what the world does. It takes it out of us. So figure out what those things are. Build them into your life. Communicate that with the people around you. Give them the space to do the same thing. And just start. Start little by little. Take 5 minutes a day to yourself. Like some moms just want to poop in peace. Not me. Sienna comes in the bathroom every day. I poop. I don't know. But
It's so weird.
Some moms just want to poop in peace. So make that a priority. Whatever it is, just start somewhere and know that you're not being selfish. Take it from me. You're not. Right, Jason?
Yeah, make it a habit.
Make it a habit? Do you want to make it a habit that you don't poop in private anymore?
Nope.
All right. He's making it a habit, but not that one. All right, guys, I hope this was helpful. Please go and take care of you today, this week, and the weeks and months to come, and watch what happens to yourself and to those around you. Until next week, happy self-care.